Welcome everyone to an awesome game between myself as Khorne going up against Tzeentch. And this was going to be a ranked land battle and a very interesting one indeed. So 3 units of the Furies at the front, and for the main battle line 3 units, made that 4 actually, of the Forsaken, backed up here by the double spawn of Tzeentch. A really nice combo, max weapon strength from the Forsaken, backed up by the monstrous infantry that also produce armor sundering, negative 30 armor, very good up against Khorne. In the sky, we are going to be having 2 units of the Screamers and then the Knights of Immolation. The bad boys indeed, which are very, very powerful. Now, they're going to be having the Searing Torrent, a very good bombardment ability. Only 5 uses, but very good up against ground infantry. 100 armor, silver shield, plus brilliant stats, including magical damage, making them very good up against demons. For the Lord Choice, we are going to have the Herald of Tzeentch Magic. He's going to be on a disc with the Arcane Conduit, the Fires of Change, and the spells of the Infernal Gateway and the Blue Fires of Tzeentch. The abilities, the Chromatic Tome, the Locus of Conjuration, and the Opal Amulet. So for myself, we are going to be having Flesh Hounds. Looks like it's going to be 3 over there on the left-hand side, and there's going to be 2 on the right. So one of those there is going to be Warhounds in the sky. We are going to have 4 units of the Chaos Furies of Khorne, and of course we're also going to be having an Exalted Bloodthirster. Now the bad boy is going to be having the Bellows of Fury, which is going to be giving those breath attacks with the Deathbringer, and then also Bloodthirst, making them nice and fast here in the sky. 4 units here of the normal shielded and battle axe infantry of the Warriors of Khorne, and of course we are going to be having the hero here, the Cultist, bringing that beautiful summon. The Gate of Khorne, very powerful indeed. So to go forward, I was expecting quite a wide fire line. I really wasn't expecting mass flying force, and then also a bucketload of Forsaken, because of course, you know, the Herald of Tzeentch is really not a great melee combatant. He does have 105 speed, but my Bloodthirster really can reach some very fast speeds. I think somewhere near about 120 with all of his bonuses. So we're going to be charging forward here. We do see lots of Flash Hounds. I was hoping to get into some blue and pink horrors in the backside and really get some great value. But you can see there's going to be lots of Furies, and then of course lots of Warhounds going to be coming forward. So I'm really going to have to use these, you know, quite strategically to get the best value I possibly can. So Fury's going to be diving to the front. We can see here actually going to be catching out quite a few of the Knights of Immolation. They did quite a bit of damage here against my Furies, but of course here the Exalted Bloodthirster got through and, you know, did some damage. It's going to be a little bit of chip, not too much. Of course, now they have lost their shield. Now going to be diving the Furies on. They're not going to be having a great time. That is going to be permanent damage on a very, very good unit of Knights of Immolation. That's 1.8k down. Of course, for every model that drops, that's going to be less for the bombardment here coming forward in the future. So the Lord Choice here is going to be fighting up against Furies and then also some of these Screamers. So it's going to do pretty well there for him. You can see the Furies dying rather quickly. Those breath attacks and the splash attacks are very, very strong indeed. So we do actually have some Furies coming across. The Knights of Immolation have lost 3 models and quite a bit of HP. So the Shielded Warriors are going to be diving forward here. You can see Furies actually going to be coming over to the left-hand side. Bit of a mistake from my opponent. We can see quite a few units. They are going to be getting some good damage, but still nonetheless, they're going to be taking quite a few casualties. Flash Hounds in the back, we see right and left-hand side. Some Chaos Warhounds here just going to be waiting in case any of the units break. And a downhill charge, very nice stuff from my opponent. He does have the high ground. This was a big mistake here from me. If anybody knows anything about Star Wars, you know it's all about the high ground. So we're going to be charging downhill here, Forsaken, and of course Spawner, just a devastating combo. The Lord Choice, or should we say the Hero Choice, is going to be in there doing some good work. But now I get the downhill counter charge here with some of the Flesh Hounds. They have really good armor piercing. It's actually going to be 22 there per model. Really nice spell in from behind. You see the edge is going to catch me, but not too much of my opponent. I really try and squeeze them forward to get as little damage as possible, but it's inevitable. Very, very expensive Winds of Magic, and it's going to do bucket loads of damage up against my infantry. Really good stuff there coming from my opponent. You see Furies diving down, catching quite a few of the Flesh Hounds, doing some good work. They're not going to do too great up against the Warriors of Khorne, but still nonetheless they will do some good work overall. So we are going to get the Warhounds in and amongst the Furies. They'll do some pretty good work. These bad boys should be able to get in, and, you know, they don't have much armor, so they're going to carve them down pretty nicely. Fury's going to be cycle charging, so they're trying to catch up against these spawns. They don't have much armor, so Furies will do some good work overall. In the back, we are going to be having the Lord Choice using the Opal Amulet, but of course the Bloodthirster is going to have some speed bonuses. So we can see here, we are going to use Bloodthirst, which is going to give plus 25% speed up to 119, so just a smidge there off 120, and it's only 105 there for the Herald, so big pressure coming out of the Exalted Bloodthirster. Furies are also going to be faster. The Lord Choice, very smartly, is going to land on the floor, and is going to dive straight through. Good stuff there coming from my opponent, and he's going to get away rather quickly. So Doom Knights, like the elevators they are, they're going to get up and out, and maybe could push out some of the Warriors of Khorne here. That'd be very smart there from them. And yeah, they managed to get out away here from the cultist, who has a very high weapon strength, so you can actually take down models with every single strike. We do see here that the Warhounds did get broken. Of course, there's going to be quite a few elements in the back. They're not known for their great leadership, nothing like Flesh Hounds, it must be said. But still, they've done relatively well. They got the damage, they got in, they got out, and most of them will be getting away here with their lives, which is not really the Khorne way, but still nonetheless, they're just regular doggos. So we do see the Warriors of Khorne, they're going to charge away. My opponent tried to see if my micro wasn't quite on point here, and then manages to cancel that. So good stuff coming from here. I think he maybe cast another ability, but it looks like he actually did die in the backside. So actually, maybe dying there didn't actually cause that in the end. I think it was a bit of a panic cast because he was losing his caster. That big ginormous whip here coming from the Bloodthirster as he slashes through the mass of the Knights of Immolation. And you can see the Fury still going strong, just causing so much damage here on these very, very expensive flying cavalry units. Now, Screamers, they're going to be flying through. Screamers actually really don't do very well up against Furies, you know, especially Fury to even up against Tzeentch themselves. They're really not very strong. They really do rely on that AP and anti-large. So beyond to the middle, breath attacks coming down the line. I was trying to catch as many of the Forsaken as possible. One of them shatters, which was huge for me. Of course, you know, unbreakable spawn are very, very powerful. Balance power is going to be in my favour. We do see the Shielded Warriors of Khorne, the other unit as well that broke over there to the left. They didn't get chased off here by the Knights of Immolation, which was a bit of an interesting pick, I must say. So pushing those off would have been rather nice indeed. Now my Furies are going to be chasing. They're going to be wavering. They're not looking too happy, but the Knights, they're rather low. And I was kind of hoping here we might be able to finish them off. I think we get pretty damn close. 800 health there for them. The Furies are also biting the dust rather quickly. But it's a trade for trade, and I'm very happy with that. Nice spell there, or should we say the faction ability coming forward from Tzeentch. It's going to armor sunder the big boy. And of course you'll get extra armor sundering on top of the spawn of Tzeentch. So you can really whittle down his armor, and it's good damage. You can see, you know, 500, 600, 700 damage. You know, quite nicely applied there to my lore choice. So we're trying to fight in the middle. We're going to be giving encourage here to all my infantry units. You can see one has broken. I'm really starting to whittle down on the numbers. The Knights of Immolation, 670 HP, still going to be fighting here in the middle. They do manage to break down the Furies, but you know, the Furies did what they had to do. And now we're going to be having the spawn of Tzeentch backed up here by the Forsaken. The Screamers do bite the dust. But the Forsaken, you know, they've got a plan in mind, and they can do really well here up against my Lord Choice. Only 60 armor for him. He's getting brought down really well. All of my infantry is going to be breaking. I do get away with my Lord Choice here. So over on the left-hand side, I don't really know if this was a mistake. It kind of feels like a mistake, but of course my cultist isn't going to be fighting, but he is going to be chasing off these Forsaken units. 27 models, 1.2k, and of course they have their shield back. So they're going to be fighting in the middle here. Not too sure what's the shield going to be there. 132. So the barrier, you know, it can be quite handy over time. So I managed to get my Bloodthirster in the sky. I believe here I'm just kind of buying time for a Bellow of Fury, trying to get as much breath attack on the floor as possible. These Doom Knights are going to be coming through as well. The magical attack's really good up against that physical resistance. Really circumvents all those defensive tools here that we have from the Exalted Bloodthirster. So we're going to be charging off, and this is really good stuff, getting just the Knights, which for some reason still have leadership. 140 HP, 8 leadership. They're very happy. I don't know how this is the case. They don't have immune to psychology. I've got Terror on the Bloodthirster. This is completely ridiculous. Plus, they've also lost leadership thanks to losing their Lord. I still have mine on the battlefield, yet this one Doom Knight will not give up. So we're going to be fighting in the middle here. We do see the spawn is really low, 1.4k, but of course they're unbreakable. It doesn't really matter how much damage I do. They're going to sit in here and fight. Balance power is massively in my favour at this moment. We're charging in with the Warriors of Khorne, but we are going to be getting a rear charge here. The Knights still somehow going. I do try and turn and burn here, and we are going to be immediately removing. He's going down to 130 HP. The Lord Choice not looking great, 3,100 for him. And then we shatter the Warriors of Khorne. Somehow on 130 health, this Knight of Immolation is going to get away and start charging off the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. These bad boys are just so incredibly good, they're almost broken, and I love it. They're so goddamn awesome. So the Exalted Bloodthirster's armor sundered. He's really struggling here in the middle. So Spawn and Tzeentch, you're going to have 11 models here. We're going to be having 33 health, 2 in the middle as well, and then just Mass Forsaken. I wanted to get in the air. I wanted to get a breath attack here down the line of the Forsaken. I still have my hero coming across the battlefield. It's really far to push that unit off the edge of the map. So the breath attack goes down, and now we have to dive in. I think I actually managed to get a breath attack on the 2 other spawns, so they dropped. So it's just 1 unit of spawn, and then 1 unit of Forsaken there too on the battlefield. Balance power, hugely in my favour. So we see here that the Knight of Immolation does break, but then returns. I have no idea on what goddamn will or power this thing. I mean, base value 90 of leadership as well. On the high ground, apparently, yeah, I don't know. It feels unbelievably broken to me. But still, he's going to be going well. Bloodthirster really needs to get rid of these spawners, Tzeentch. They are holding so hard. Balance of power is still in my favour, but coming back towards the middle. Lord Choice, 1.3k there for him, but, you know, I was respecting attacking rules. I really had to wait. I had to fight to the best of my ability. I didn't really want to give my opponent a bit of a cheap one. I wanted to give him a respectful battle, and in doing so, I am going to be losing my Bloodthirster here. Usually, he is going to be probably -12 leadership. Balance of power now goes back to the middle, and actually for the first time in the favour of Tzeentch. So the Knight is still going to be over on the right-hand side, 130 HP, still going as well. Lord Choice dies, so it's now pretty much going to be the Cultist versus the World. So we're going to be charging forward. We actually have 44 models and 10 left here for the spawn. So we charge in, he's going to be slicing and dicing, 1.9k here for the spawn. Really need to start taking down some models. So we get a slice through there. Not too much damage. These boys still going to be going rather strong. One does bite the dust there. Big battle axe coming forward here from the Cultists. But balance of power really now shifting into my opponent's favour. And over comes the Knight, the unbreakable man, the myth, the legend. This guy needs a pay rise. I don't know what he's been paid here by the Chaos of Tzeentch, but he has done a wonderful job in the middle. The Cultist is going to be wavering. We're 9 minutes into the game. It's been a fantastic one indeed. Armor Sundering here has been applied to the Cultist, down to 45 armor, and we damn well know what's going to happen here when you have Forsaken. So really, really good game. Also, I've had some super close ones recently. I've lost a few, won a few, and it's been ridiculously fun regardless. This was a really good build from my opponent. Really great gameplay, and it was really enjoyable, so thank you very much for the awesome game. 3,500 for the Exalted Bloodthirster, 508 there for the Cultist, with 450, 260, 440 and 650 for the Fleshhounds. Fleshhounds did well. Of course, they went up in cost, and were they really worth it in this matchup? I think so. You know, in case there is mass stuff in the backside as well. You know, it provides a little bit of mass for the build, and then, you know, also some good mobility if and when I need it. But here in this particular matchup, I could see that it didn't really do too much. So maybe cutting back on a few of those, you know, might be a little bit more optimal. Now, I did bring some Warriors of Khorne. They've got 86, 370, 200, and 1,000. So, yeah, you know, it's not looking great there. You know, I did obey the attacking rules. I did go forward because there was no other way that I could obey the attacking rules without cheesing. And yes, he got the downhill charge and just beat the living daylights out of my Warriors of Khorne. We're going to get the Furies 270, 680, 830, and 113. So for the Lord Choice of Tzeentch, you got 460. I was able to take him down rather quickly. 1,680 there for the Knights of Immolation, which one of them there was just unbelievably unbreakable, which was ridiculous, I must say so. 801.5k there for the spawn. This second one just dumpstered, my lord. Very, very good stuff. 360, 2,100 for this Forsaken, 600 and 560. So we've got 260, 440 there for the Screamers, 410, 350 and 230. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already.